Alright, Randall, here is your 24th scale. I think they call it a 24th. It's awful small, but I believe that's still what they refer to it as. I'm giving it a 27th, 6th or 7th scale, but it is a Welly. So, most of you builders know, and some of you people that collect these, the Welly Tahoe and the Welly Impala are a little smaller size-wise compared to the, say, the Maisto Impala and the Jada Tahoes. As you know, those are a little bit larger, even though they all say 24th scale. This is decaled as a Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department car. I also had some lighting. My customer threw a curve on me, didn't you, Mr. Randall? Sent decals for me to put decals on. I thought I was just going to get away with doing lights, but he sent decals with it as well. Hood still opens on this. You can see the detailed, what you call a detailed motor anyway. At least they do a little bit of painting on there, and like Motor Max or some of those actually has a little bit of color to the motor. As you can see the intake, everything, a little bit of aluminum color to it, a little bit of aluminum paint. Detailed it out a little bit. What I do like about the Impala is, it seems like all the models, even the Maisto 18th scale and this one, have a, I guess would be maybe a radar control unit, maybe on the dash, or some type of controller of some sort, maybe. And then also in the interior, they also have a radio console, and for the head control for the flashers, I guess, and everything else inside there as well. So they do go a little bit further when it comes to the detail interior-wise. So it's pretty cool. Also added a laptop for you as well, an MDT in there that does not have one. Swinging around to this side, you can see a little bit better. So I added one to that as well. This door, I don't know why, but for some reason when I got out of the box, it has a catch to it. But it will open. And I don't know, I thought it was maybe this plastic trim piece. And I did a little work on that, trying to take care of it, and could not get it to stop doing that. So I have no idea what's catching. Something interior-wise. Well, as a matter of fact, I think it just took care of it, whatever it was. Huh, got lucky. I guess if it was a piece of plastic, it wore off enough. Like I said, I was trying to take care of it internally and could not. With this one, you wanted headlight strobes. You also asked for grill lights. The way this is set up on the inside, we'll flip it over here real quick. The screw is mounted right here in the inside where this holds the body and everything together. So there's a large metal piece right here that would have been taken out to install grill lights, because it blocks the whole grill. And that's going to let your model fall apart. So we didn't do grill lights. Instead, what I did is added them into the lower air dam. So they still look pretty daggone cool. They're not too far off the grill, where the grill lights would have been. But anyway, it still turned out really nice. You also asked for a red and a blue strobe on the rear deck, and you also got rear tail light strobes as well. Of course, red and blue strobe light bar. One battery with this, or sorry, one switch with this. We'll turn it on. The reason I said battery, I was thinking about, I'm going to tell you something else as well. So let's run over this real quick. Headlight strobes, different patterns as you can see, and then also your red and blue strobes in the auxiliaries. Lights kind of take the color away from it, and part of it's just my camera. Red and blue strobe light bar on the roof. Your red and blue strobes on the rear deck, and then of course your tail light strobes. Again, same patterns. Your tail light strobes, rear deck strobes, and headlight strobes are all connected to the circuit board. So you'll get some different patterns with those. As well, just like the other car. One of the other cars that I built, you had the same board. We discussed that. Now, what I did do on this, we talked about how small this Welly is. A 9-volt battery will not fit in the back of these cars. I could have cut away some of the rear seat. Part of the battery could have passed through the back of the rear seat. I didn't want to do that. So what I ended up doing was putting a 23A battery, which is one of the little small 12 volts, about as big around as a AAA and about half as long. It's a 12 volt battery. And even though I've got a circuit board in this, I don't know how long that battery is actually going to last. I use them in some other builds, but it's completely circuit board driven, whereas this one has some random strobes in it as well. So I don't know how long that battery's going to last. So what I ended up doing for you, if you do use this quite a bit to where it starts kind of running the batteries down, you don't want to replace them all the time. What I did, since this has a plastic case that comes with it, in the rear where the battery holder's at, I also wired in a 9-volt battery connector. Again, the 9-volt battery will not fit in there, but if you decide to swap this out to where you don't have to deal with that little small 23A battery, what you can do is when you take that battery out, remove the battery before you hook up the 9-volt. But you can take the connector that's in the trunk, like I said, pop the 12-volt battery out, hook this to it. Now, don't use this for anything else because I've reversed the leads on this since it has to match up to another battery connector. So what would normally be positive and negative on this is opposite. So it hooks to your connector in the trunk. So what you will do is just snap this together with the 9-volt battery that's in the car, run your wire out of the car, and then I've given you about a foot of wire. Alright. And connect it to a battery box. So you can hook this to the car inside, have the batteries external, mount this to your base and have your clear cover and everything over that the Welly comes with, and then that way you can run it with a 9-volt battery. And as you know, with the other cars that I built for you, the 9-volt battery will run this car probably for 5 or 6 hours continuous, if not longer, especially with utilizing the circuit board that I put in there. So it'll run for quite a long time just for the price of a 9-volt. So anyway, I'm going to include this as well with it, and that way, like I said, you can use it. This also has a switch on it, on-off switch. Just leave the switch in the car on the bottom here. Just leave it on, and then you can just control it with this. That way, if you do have it mounted to the plastic base with a cover over top of it, you don't have to worry about opening it up to turn the car off and on. You can just turn it off and on here with a switch. Let's turn it back on. Randall, I appreciate the builds. I know I've got that Georgia State Trooper and also the black unmarked Charger that you want me to get knocked out for you. I wanted to finish this one up since you already paid for the first 3. Get those taken care of. Like I said, I'll try to get these others knocked out as soon as possible. I appreciate the orders and the continued business. And like I said, I'll get these other ones built as soon as I can. Thank you very much.